welcome to the Cellar. I'm your host, Richard Glover. You're tuning in to another amazing night in the Cellar, where we talk about wine, fashion, and lifestyle. The Cellar is an innovative forum inciting provocative conversation about wine and the luxurious lifestyle of the wine consumer. And tonight, like I say, every other Thursday night, once in a while we invite other folks from relevant industries like the dance industry and of like the food industry and the hospitality industry. But tonight is going to be an amazing night, and we're glad that you're tuned in again to the Cellar. Remember, this is our 12th year, and we're celebrating 12 years of doing internet radio, from an internet radio show to an internet TV show. And tonight I'm so excited because tonight our topic is wine and Latin dance. And that's right, we're going to talk about wine from some of the Latin countries, and we're going to also talk about Latin dancing. And I have an amazing lineup of guests tonight. I have 4 amazing dancers from the Washington, D.C. area, the DMV, that are professionals in what they do when it comes to Latin dancing, salsa, merengue, mambo, I think I said it right, bachata. You know, it's going to be an amazing night. They're going to dance tonight for us. So if I was you, I would grab all your friends, get in front of the laptop, get in front of your YouTube channel, if you're watching it on TV, if you're on IG, because tonight we're going to do Latin dancing and Latin wine. Now, don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial. I want to first talk to all of my Cellar Nation. Thank you so much for supporting. If you could do me a favor, when you go to the Facebook page, go and share. If you see it on my Facebook page, go to that little button there and share the show so that everybody on your network can see the show. As well as if you're on the YouTube channel and it's live, you can also like that, and you see what that little red button is, or the button that says subscribe, hit that button and subscribe so you can be in tune to everything that we're doing here in the Cellar. Also, if you subscribe, you get a chance to win some amazing gifts. That's right, we're starting to give out amazing gifts. Masks with the Cellar logo, Cellar bags for your wine that you could put your wine in when you go out with go to events and stuff and you have your own wine. So don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial. Tonight we're going to start back. When I get back and introduce my guests, we're going to start and talk about. Well, we won't do from the segment from the Vine. We're going to bring in the Glam with Malia because she's in the group in the room waiting to get on. So don't go nowhere. We got a Black History moment, and we'll talk to you soon. Be right back.
Black History Month, and DBL is honoring Black leaders who paved a way for future generations of Americans.
There is something special about tonight.
Today, we honor Barbara Jordan. She's a lawyer, educator, and the first Black woman in the South to be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. She's best known for her involvement in the impeachment of President Nixon during Watergate.
My presence here is one additional bit of evidence that the American dream need not forever be deferred.
We would come again and again and again.
Today, we honor Bayard Rustin. He was an advisor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was openly gay. He included gay rights in the broader conversation of civil rights and is credited for sharing his stance on nonviolence with Dr. King, allowing many Americans to advocate for peace and equality.
That we acted black and white together.
Their job requires that they stick a shotgun in the midsection of a 17-year-old boy who has his hands over his head and is saying, "Don't shoot."
Reverend James Lawson. As a civil rights leader and educator, he was instrumental in desegregating downtown Nashville. He continues to train activists in nonviolence and is an advocate for immigration rights.
If this be their kind of job, then it's high time. It's high time that we rid Memphis and this nation of that kind of working.
John H. Johnson, founder of Jet Magazine. The first issue was published in 1951, both chronicling the civil rights movement and celebrating Black women and their beauty at a time when they weren't featured in mainstream magazines.
What you've been seeing here makes a lot of sense.
He was a professional football player, singer, civil rights activist, and actor, known for his leading role in Othello. He took part in anti-Nazi demonstrations and performed for the Allied forces during World War II.
Let's not forget our responsibility to our communities.
Black History Month, and DBL is honoring Black leaders who paved a way for future generations of Americans.
There is something special about tonight.
Today, we honor Barbara Jordan. She's a lawyer, educator, and the first Black woman in the South to be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. She's best known for her involvement in the impeachment of President Nixon during Watergate.
My presence here is one additional bit of evidence that the American dream need not forever be deferred.
Said we would come again.
And welcome back to the Cellar. I'm your host, Richard Glover. You're tuned in to another amazing and epic evening in the Cellar, where we talk about wine, fashion, and lifestyle. And tonight, like I mentioned earlier, our show topic is wine and Latin dance. And tonight, we're going to kind of travel to some of the Latin American countries, or the Latin countries that are actually not old world wine countries, but they're progressively trying to be and grab the crown as being one of the top wine regions in the world. Now, you all know about the old world wine regions like Italy and Spain and France and Germany and North Africa. Well, there are some amazing Latin countries that do some amazing things in developing some amazing regions in wine and being professional and producing some amazing wines. And we're going to talk about them tonight. So sit back, relax, and of course, let me now introduce my amazing guests that are in the cellar. Well, hello and welcome. Welcome. So we have Yoey. Hi. And we have JJ.
How you doing?
And we have Cecilia.
How are you?
And can I call you Cece?
Yes.
Awesome. So I have some amazing, these ladies and this gentleman are some amazing dancers. I mean, and they're not just dancers. They are professional Latin dancers. And they've been in the Washington, D.C. area, performing not just in the DMV, but beyond. And they are very good friends to my cousin, Earl Rush, who is grabbed the title of the Salsa Godfather. Is that what it is now? Salsa Godfather. Well, Earl, is going to probably be here a little later on, but tonight we really have some amazing dancers, and I want to talk to them, and they're going to share with us, how long they've been dancing, how they got into it. I had a couple of conversations, with them earlier, and I found some amazing things about what they're doing now. And we're going to talk pre-COVID dancing and COVID dancing, and we're going to talk about wine, Latin wines, Latin dancing, and what's going to happen to the future of Latin dancing. So let's get this show on the road. Look, before we get started, my girl is she's in the green room, and we want to bring her in. She runs the segment, The Glam with Malia, and she's in Detroit. Malia, are you there? How are you?
Hi, yes. How are you?
I'm doing well. I have some amazing folks in the studio with me tonight. So
Yes,
tell us.
I love the studio. Everyone looks so amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. So tell us, what do you have for us tonight from Glam with Malia?
Yeah, so I'll be doing my part 2 segment on how to become a model. So let's start with it. So, how to start becoming a model, which is kind of easy and it's kind of hard at the same time. But as long as you know what you're doing, you're perfectly fine. Like kind of was talking about a few weeks ago, is you can go through a modeling agency or you can even do it yourself. And I'm here to give you tips. So to start out on your own, you can do photo shoots, you can get your headshots done, and then you can even go to an agency. But to take it onto yourself, which is like pretty amazing because that's like how I did. I started with pageants. You can do pageants. You can even start as a brand ambassador. I know some of my friends, and including myself, I also do work for like Shein, Princess Polly, ASO, and like fashionable clothes like that every girls wear. You can start being a brand ambassador, and then once you start working up your ranking like that, you can you never know, they could ask you to be a model. Or I know what some people do is like, let's just say you go shopping at like Zara's or Forever 21 or something like that, and you wear like this really cute outfit and you tag that company could see that, and then they're like, okay, yes, I want that girl. We could totally use her. And I just think having someone on these amazing like experience, like especially with like social media and like Instagram and Facebook, just getting your name out there and getting those really cute photos and tagging those companies will also get you known as well, because that's what I usually do. I work a lot off of Instagram, so I'm also tagging people, I'm tagging companies, posting every day, making sure my Instagram looks good, because you never know. I mean, big companies like H&M, Forever 21, Paxson, or even like some really big name modeling agencies such as like Ford Models and I Group. There's always somebody watching you, so make sure that your Instagram and social media looks really good, because that really counts.
Awesome. Well, Malia, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You seem to always bring some very good information to all of our listeners and viewers about how to be a model, and of course how to find the right makeup to put on and all those great things. I did notice that you had the websites of some of the different companies that you work along with. So I'm glad and hope that people have seeing or watching that. And of course, we'll put that information out more for them. Well, Malia, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. How's the weather in Detroit?
It's not too bad. It's about 45 degrees. I'm pretty happy with it. Better than snow. So
Great. Well, one day Malia's going to be here in the studio. Thank you so much, Malia. Take care. See you next week.
thank you. See you next week. Yes.
All right. That's my girl in Detroit, Malia, Glam with Malia. And she talks about a lot of bringing, young ladies up to, how to look when you go out. I mean, you ladies don't need that. I mean, already you ladies look amazing. So, and like yourself, she started off in pageants, and actually that's how I met her. She was one of our pageant contestants for Miss Bikini. So, yeah. So while we're on that, so tell us, see, how did you get into dancing? And
well, I started at very, very young age, but with folk dancing from Peru. My aunts used to be in like different dance companies.
Okay.
And I used to look at them and I'm like, I want to look like them. And I ended up being a little bit better than them.
Awesome.
So yes, thanks to my family, that's how I have the interaction with different dancers and stepping up from like just being like home family to like audition to different dance companies or schools.
Awesome. Great.
Yes.
So tell us, JJ, how about yourself? How is you getting? I mean, you got the whole gear, like you ready to go out there and dance right now.
Well, my story is pretty different. I grew up in the Middle East, so I don't have the Latin background to start off with. But I've discovered salsa in early 2005, and I fell in love with it. I grew up in Abu Dhabi, which is about an hour drive from Dubai, and I've met a group there that I started traveling with and exploring the different events and different salsa congresses. I started taking classes and private classes, and picked up from there.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. And what about you, Yo?
Well, me, very similar to Cecilia. Since I was born with listening to salsa, my mother would dance. My cousins were. I mean, it was kind of like very diverse. Like my cousins would be break dancers. My mom was a salsa dancer. And then when we moved to New York, some of our close friends would be Dominicans, and they would dance merengue or bachata. And it was just the whole time as I was growing up, I was surrounded by music. But it was only until when I was maybe about like 9 that I wanted that I showed some interest in music, and it wasn't nothing for in Latin fields. It was more towards hip hop, ballet, contemporary. It was more things that I saw in school, but it was in the line. It was on the path. So later on, when I was 15, that's when I really got into Latin music.
Okay, so now you all come from different parts of the world. Got the dancing a little bit there, and now you're here in the DMV. Now, I've been in Washington for quite some time. Never been really, aware of the Latin social dancing or the social meetings up there having, and it seemed like it's just a big burst of this going on now. Is it something like really new for this area, or is it something that's been going on for a while, just kind of been, downplayed, but now it's everywhere?
I don't really think so. I think it's always been.
It's been going on.
It's always been. It's just that, like everything, it has, I guess, its moments that it rises and it just goes back down. But I think it's always been there ever since salsa from New York started rising and just, spreading out through the whole United States, basically, because now we hear salsa just as much as we hear it in New York. We hear it in LA. Right. Or even Washington State. I mean, like, it's just everywhere. Like, I was talking to some friends just last week, and in Portland, they're like having salsa socials and bachata socials like crazy. So it's, so it's nice to hear how the culture has really expanded.
Yeah, and you mentioned a key word. Conferences and these conferences are pretty large. I mean, I've only been to one, not one, but only one area.
The congresses.
That's the congresses they have here at the DC Bachata Congress. So I was just amazed at that people were dancing all night long. And the different dancing. I think it was like when I first was introduced to it by early, it was like, man, there's gonna be like 8 different ballrooms of people dancing to 8 in the morning, and I'm like, really? And I was running around trying to catch this room and catch that room, thinking that it was going to all end around 2 o'clock.
You never end. That's why they do 4 days, right?
4
days. It's like, you got to flip them over.
In New York is 10 days.
And in New York,
10 days.
In New York, it's 1 week, sometimes 10 days. Yeah.
So are they all connected together, or is it just everybody creates their own congress in their
right?
area?
No,
they're different promoters.
Okay.
The thing that is common about all these congresses that you can go to one of them. You can go to a congress in California or in a different country, and you'll still find hundreds of people that you already know.
Wow. It's kind of like the same crowd.
Yeah, that's what dancing does to you. It brings people together. Like you mentioned, we're from different backgrounds, like completely different backgrounds.
Right.
The first congress in the Washington, D.C. area was in 99.
99?
Yes, I arrived to the United States in 96.
Okay.
And 99 was the first one.
Well, see, and that's why I was saying, it's like, it may have been some small social, I guess what do you call it, social dancing or social dancing, around the, but if you really wasn't into it, you didn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
It was more underground. That's what it was. Like, it was definitely more grooving and more pumping up on the East Coast, more New York, New Jersey kind of area. Over there, it was a little bit more casual. Here, it was like, maybe the people that went from here to there brought it over here, and it kind of like,
Yes.
But yeah, that's how it was. I mean,
and I think the first one I went to, and I think it was probably sometime in 2000, I think I went to the 9th one. I think I caught it when it was the annual, the 9th one.
Okay.
And people, close to 10,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
And they would say, you better get your room quickly because the rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were up early. There were workshops. So did any of you take part of doing some of the workshops? I'm sure your backgrounds is
we've all had, I think we've all had the privilege of also teaching and performing and enjoying, which is something pretty cool.
I'm
that you
still
get.
learning.
and still learning.
You
yeah.
never stop learning.
Because we take
Yep.
other workshops. Like she holds a lot of workshops. JJ holds workshops. I hold
Yes.
workshops.
Okay.
And it's I love the fact that this is like medicine, really. It never stops in the learning sequences. Like you just always learn new steps, and the youth brings up new steps, and
Okay.
they're bringing their flavor in, so they start mutating something and then transforming it and creating, and then we just have to keep up.
Wow.
It's a great
Yes.
workout too.
Yeah.
That I do know is a great
Yeah.
work. You will sweat yourself to death.
There's something that we say that you never know how strong you are until we dance in these heels all night.
Wow, I noticed that. I noticed
Yes.
that. And I'm like, the guys got it easy.
Yeah, they're comfy.
And I
we
also
have to do
noticed
all
that.
this.
And I also noticed that. And we're gonna go to a quick break. But let me ask this question. I noticed that a lot of time it's the women that are doing a lot of the movements, the guys, but they're guiding them. It's like you guys are guiding the women, and you know how they know when to flip.
So in general, we in dancing, it's a partner dance, salsa and bachata. So we're divided into leads and follows.
Okay.
It looks like the women are doing most of the work, most of the spins, yes, but
We are the shine and the
Yeah.
guys on
and,
the frame.
and they get all the credit, most of the credit. But let's not forget that the guys lead.
Yeah.
Besides
Right.
what they're leading the dance.
So if we
Most
have
of
a
the
good
guys.
frame,
Mhm.
that's when we stand out.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, the frame is very important. I like to
Yes.
also compare it to as a puppeteer and a puppet. So
Okay.
if you have a good puppeteer, the puppet looks really good.
Awesome.
So it's just that I like to compare that situation in the sense of like how we as follows look, and it really, if you have a strong lead.
We'll be right back. We're going to continue this conversation. We're going to talk about some wine. I got some wine regions I want to share with you. But this is an amazing conversation. Don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're tuned into the Cellar.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Soul has no color, no shape, no form. You have the power to change perception, to inspire and empower, and to show people how to embrace their complications and see the flaws and the true beauty and strength that's inside all of us.
That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
For those who marched, and for those who prayed, and for those who sang and bled, and for those who believed, and for those who died, I stand as 10,000 to the 10th power.
When we talk about the Black family, well, the Black family was a big part of that history. Recently, we're challenging the history that we communicate to children.
My grandparents and parents have blazed a path of privilege so that my siblings and I were afforded the best education and just introduced to all of the possibilities that life has to offer.
Black History Month gives everyone the opportunity to share, celebrate, and understand the impact of Black heritage and culture.
By reflecting on the achievements and contributions of Black people, not only in America, but all over the world.
This is a time for us to unite.
I don't want my grandchildren and the generations to follow to have to live in a world where senseless deaths are constantly splashed across the news screen and other forms of social media.
The commitment for equal rights defense is shown through the involvement that employees and their families have with TransUnion.
Our greatness as a company is inseparable from our ability to function as a global community.
One of my greatest experiences at Mercy Homes, leading a mentoring group of little Black girls from the west side of Chicago and introducing them to the big world of TransUnion, and partnering them with women that mentored them who did not look like them.
It's fascinating. It's inspiring. It's encouraging.
And welcome back to the Cellar. This time I want to talk about a couple of the Latin regions that are very known right now for their wine and their wineries in those regions. So let's go to the first one, which is Mendoza, Argentina. Now, I'm going to tell you, I love Argentinian wines. And what I found out about Argentinian wines, and my favorite one is the Malbec, is that some of your favorite too, 90% of the Argentinian wines are consumed by the population. So they only export about 10% of their wines. Wow. So let's go to the Mendoza, Argentina script. So yeah, you can talk about wine in South America without starting with Argentina. You have to talk about Argentina. Argentinian wines has put Latin America on the map in terms of wine production, and the region of Mendoza is one of the finest, as you say, a feather in their hat. And one of the things about the Argentina wines are that they're famous for their Malbec, their Cabernet Sauvignon, and of course, Malbec sits in a valley between two Adian peaks, which is the highest desert that is almost 6,000 meters above sea level. So they get a lot of, at night, they get a lot of mist from the ocean and stuff there. Let's go to the next one, which is Maipo Valley. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to talk some more about it. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break and And welcome back to the Cellar. I'm your host, Richard Glover. You're tuned into another funny night tonight in the Cellar. So, all right, so let's get to this wine tasting. And I have to do it because, you know, it's interesting. When I do wine tastings, I can be honest with you. People mostly start swirling the wine because that's common because everybody's used to swirling the wine. But I don't want you to swirl it yet because we're going to do a technical tasting.
Oh.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look into the glass. And you're going to look into the glass, or like down into the glass. You're going to look for color, content, and clarity. Okay. And so color, content, and clarity is just almost like what women like, JJ, when they talk about the 4 C's. You know, like the diamond 4 C's. When wine is the 3 C's: color, clarity, and content. You know. So we're going to look down in it, and while you're looking into the wine, if you notice, because this is a red wine. You notice a white, thin, watery edge. You see that? Yeah. And then you start to see the color of the wine itself. It could be like, what do you think? It's a plum color there or something?
No,
Sort of
plummish, a little reddish.
Reddish, yeah, okay. So then the second thing you want to do, or the third thing is you want to take the wine and put it into your nose. Put your nose all the way in the wine glass and smell it. Does it smell? What do you smell?
Smells like wine.
And that's what most people say.
Like I want to taste it.
Okay. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Okay, now you want to swirl it. Because see, when you were swirling it, at first you were sort of upsetting the wine. You know, JJ, wine is like women. If you touch them wrong,
you get in trouble.
They get in trouble, right? Yeah. So you got to be careful how you know, when you get the glass of wine. Now smell it again.
Okay.
Smell it again.
Learning
and see what
here.
happens.
Okay.
Different smell.
Yeah.
What happens is
aromatic,
it's more exactly.
Yeah.
You smell the fruit flavor in it, which is like cherry.
Okay.
Some
Yes.
dark cherry. You smell the dark cherry.
Yes, I smell the dark cherry.
In this one, because it's a Sangiovese out of Italy, it's out of Toscana, Italy. You're gonna smell some chocolate.
Oh.
And that chocolate, some vanilla chocolate.
Too.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna do what you call a technical tasting, where you're gonna first put the wine into the tip of your tongue, and then you're gonna lay it on your palate. Then you're gonna swallow it, and then I'm gonna tell you. You're gonna tell us what it tastes like. Okay, you ready? Let's go. So in the beginning, was it tangy? Was it tangy? Did it bite you, or was it smooth?
I think it was smooth.
Yeah,
I think it was smooth.
It was smooth.
And then it was tangy.
Yes. and what happened is when you laid it on your tongue, that tells you exactly what the wine is going to be. If it's tangy, if it's a bite, if it's strong, or if it's smooth. Now, the second time you laid it on your palate for about 10, 13 seconds, it laid on your palate. And that's when you begin to taste whether it is whether it's like peppery and it got little peppers in it and stuff, or you taste a little bit of the aroma on it and everything, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, and the third thing is when it's swallowed, the finish. It's called the finish. Whether it was long, short, soft, wherever it was, you can tell when the finish. And if it's long, it's because it's a full body wine. If it's short, it's probably medium body. And if it's really light, it's a light body red wine. So this one is a medium body.
Interesting. That is so interesting.
I'm learning here.
Whole process right there.
Right.
No wonder they are like so like men. They are so touchy about their wines.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I want to say
exactly.
that word because it's very. Now I understand why. I know you like wines. I know you're very exquisite with your wines.
And it's just like learning how to dance.
Right.
When you if you have an affinity for Latin dancing, for salsa and bachata, then it feels a certain way if you see somebody doing it the wrong. Like, I mean, how many times have Earl told me, Richard, you're a musician. You should know how to count.
Right.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So we just this is our wine tasting. So what we tasted tonight, so everybody can know, we tasted a Sangiovese Toscana, a 2015 wine. And we're going to keep it here just in case somebody wants some more throughout the night. Now, before we go to our next break, let's talk a little bit more about dancing and salsa dancing and social dancing and the congresses and all of that. So now we had COVID-19 happen. And with COVID-19, what happened? We lost a lot of outside events. We lost a lot of inside events. And what did it do to the whole dance community?
Shut down.
Shut it down.
Yeah, it was a big shutdown. But I gotta give it to the dance community in DMV. We all decided to shut down even before any of the government regulations took place, because we felt responsible for our community.
Right.
So even before, I remember it was exactly around this time last year.
Right.
Okay.
Before any of the restrictions or the shutdown, we Earl Rush and I, even Yoey with her events and Cecilia, we've decided that, listen, guys, we have a responsibility towards the public, and we gotta shut down with all the losses we've encountered, because some of us do this for a living.
Okay.
It was a painful decision, but safety and the public safety come first.
Oh, okay.
Right. It was very scary.
Right.
Because we were in a loop, and in an infinite loop that we didn't know where it was going to end.
Right.
Like what he says, some of us we live off of this. Some of us part-time. Some of us just do it as a hobby, but it's part of us.
Right. Right.
So it's like, telling you one day, okay, your hobby, okay, put it aside and just, keep on going. And then you're like so used to socializing and having your students and your workshops and socials and so many things that we were already used to. We had our routine. And then like what she said, it was shut down. We were like, what's going to happen?
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty frightening.
And even with being at venues and even in your own studio, it kind of affected you,
Definitely.
affected you stuff. So what happens now? Where do we go now? We got a vaccination.
So we kind of try to find solutions like teaching virtuals.
Okay.
So we stopped teaching end of February, beginning of March.
Okay.
And in April, most of us were teaching the virtual classes, at least keep it up a couple times a week. But it was us in like one room with no people.
Yes, it was so weird.
So every time I'm like, okay, now you wanna shake your booty or shimmy, I have to look at the computer and I'm like, are you guys doing it?
Right.
Yeah. And that virtual it's got its challenges.
What? Oh my God.
I took a stretch class virtually, and it was just really rough.
It definitely, because as an instructor, it's not just teaching the class, it's to send a message to the student how they're going to execute the move and how you have to transform being with them and all of a sudden you're not with them. So you have to look for angles to explain the definition of the step.
So do you think that, as we go along in 2021, it looked like things may clear up a little bit, but we'll probably be back to some type of normalcy in 2022.
You know what is funny? When this happens, when this started, and I told my students, this is what I said, I'll see you guys 2022
Yes.
We're back to do partnering again.
Okay.
And everybody was laughing at me. Cece, you exaggerating. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
But do you think that even when we get back to some type of normalcy, will you still do some virtual stuff?
Yeah, I think it was an experience for all of us as survivors. I believe, like Cecilia was saying, I mean, we learned how to give a class with absolutely nobody there, and we're used to the fact that not only what she was saying, but the energy that you give, that it just flows in the air while you're teaching, you know, that sensation that, you know, when you're alone in your room and you are looking at a computer, and like what she's saying, like, you know, like I had to like technically like learn to give my back, and then you're like, are you guys doing it? Okay, I'm going to stand the way you are, and then switch it up again. And it's a game, but that game changer taught us how to survive at any given point. And yes, like what you said, it's amazing because we might go back to normality, but there's some people that might want a virtual class, and now we're prepared for that.
Exactly.
So I see it as a positive thing. Yeah.
So that's going to, at least in my schedule, I think in a lot of our schedules is going to keep moving that way. The virtual will keep.
Okay, so not only are you your professional dancers, but you also have your own individual things that you do, your dance classes outside of the congresses, outside of doing the social dancing. Okay, that's great. It's a big business.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big business. I mean, half of the people on TikTok are doing some type of salsa dancing and mixing it up. There was one girl I saw on a TikTok, and I think she's in LA, and she's dancing. I'm thinking it's all salsa or bachata, and then somebody made a comment that, well, that's not 100% salsa. And she said, well, I didn't say I was doing 100% salsa because she's mixed it up with some urban stuff.
Right. And the amazing part, Richard, of the salsa and the Latin culture is to see the new generation getting
evolving.
Into you know, every time that there is like inter-school salsa competitions and being part of the competition, just being a judge and see this new talent growing. It's like, wow.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
100%.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's the future. You know?
Yeah, that is, and it's good that it transcends into the future. That means it'll never go away. It'll just get bigger, larger, and more people. You know, thousands and thousands. I don't know if you all are part of it, but I know Earl and some other people do this. They did something, the marathon dancing down outside in DC.
Yeah. Well, Earl, he holds you know, the Lincoln
the Lincoln
Memorial,
yeah.
And he has like
Salsa at the mall.
Salsa at the mall. That's pretty exciting. That's something that we all look forward to because it's fun and everybody gets together and stuff like that. And I want to add what you said, that music per se, it's something that has so many legs in the sense of like getting back to the virtual thing, like we can expand it to the virtual. Like I have kids, I teach kids that are autistic.
Wow.
And sometimes, you know, now with this time, you know, those are children that are on a little bit more of a special care. So, you know, they can choose, you know, how they want to pursue their dancing or their therapy or whatever. And it's so good, the fact that we're all connected this way and we learned all this, that it just made us grow so good.
Great. Well, guess who's here?
Yes.
It's been a long time.
He snuck in the back door.
Exactly 1 year.
Earl, welcome to the Cellar, sir. I'm fine, because we're so glad to have you here. Earl is awesome. He's awesome. He's an awesome gentleman. Earl, as you can probably hear, you know, we've been talking about the culture, the community, and dance, and we did some pairing of wine. And I'm going to do this for another couple of shows. Do some more talking about the different wine regions in Chile and in Argentina and in Mexico, the Parras in Mexico and Mapo in Chile. Those different valleys are helping bring in the Latin community and the Latin culture to the forefront. Right. Because not only are you guys professional dancers and you're bringing the dancing and the culture through dance, the wineries are doing the same thing. They're chasing the crown to be better than the old world regions. Right. So these new world wineries like Argentina and Chile and Brazil, you know, they're doing some amazing things. They're producing great wine, Cabernet Sauvignon, Sauvignon Blanc, and Sangavanese, all of it, they're just doing some amazing things. So the industry is really, the whole culture is doing a major, I call it overhaul in the world, the way people communicate too. It's a really good way of communicating. I'm telling you, I go just to meet the ladies. Can I be honest? I can't dance.
That's how we all started.
I can't dance, and Earl got on me one time, and we're gonna take a quick break. But Earl, and I want to talk a little bit about Earl. Earl got on me one time because a young lady came up to me and asked me that I want to dance, and I told him, I said, no, I'm good. And he said, you never turn a woman down from the salsa dancing. That's almost like he said, Richard, that's an insult. How do you do that? I said, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I got 2 left feet.
So I don't think there's anybody who ever is going to learn their basic salsa steps with 2 beautiful young ladies like these 2 here.
Well,
I don't think nobody got their first basic from 2 fine ladies like these 2 ladies, and the expertise of JJ Shamar.
Well, but my thing is that, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm very skeptical of getting out there on the floor. So I'll immediately say, thank you, but no thank you. And then hopefully that she comes back again and asks me again. Of course, that never happens. I guess they say that guy over there, he does not know how to dance. Is that true?
Well, in general, it all depends on what part of the room you're in.
Okay.
Because different cliques stay in certain parts of the room.
Okay.
And then there are also sub-cliques, as there are ladies that will dance with you. But in general, our cliques, to be truthful, if you don't know how to dance, they're not really going to dance with you. There are some friendly people like CC or Yoey, because they're instructors or whatever. They're going to dance with beginners because that's business, and you don't want to seem like a snob.
Okay.
But in general, if you don't know how to dance.
So how does a person learn?
We're about to show you.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
Don't go nowhere.
It's going to be fun.
You tune into the Cellar with Richard Glover. We're drinking some Sangavanese wine from Toscana, Italy, and we're talking to CC, JJ, Yoey, and Earl. I call them the salsa connection.
There we go.
Salsa, connection, and they're going to show us some steps. They're going to do a demonstration, and as Earl said, I'm supposed to learn some of the basics. Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. You're tuned into the Cellar where we talk about wine, fashion, and lifestyle.
When we talk about the Black family, the Black family was a big part of that history. Recently, we're challenging the history that we communicate to children.
My grandparents and parents have blazed a path of privilege so that my siblings and I were afforded the best education and just introduced to all of the possibilities that life has to offer.
Black History Month gives everyone the opportunity to share, celebrate, and understand the impact of Black heritage and culture.
By reflecting on the achievements and contributions of Black people, not only in America, but all over the world.
This is a time for us to unite.
I don't want my grandchildren and the generations to follow to have to live in a world where senseless deaths are constantly splashed across the news screen and other forms of social media.
The commitment for equal rights defense is shown through the involvement that employees and their families have with TransUnion.
Our greatness as a company is inseparable from our ability to function as a global community.
One of my greatest experiences at Mercy Homes, leading a mentoring group of little Black girls from the west side of Chicago and introducing them to the big world of TransUnion and partnering them with women that mentored them who did not look like them.
It's fascinating. It's inspiring. It's encouraging.
I'm telling y'all already.
But just like life, I All right.
Air Jordan ready to take
Can I get an amen? And welcome to the very first National Oprah Winfrey Show!
We'll be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
And welcome back to the Cellar. I'm your host, Richard Glover, and now we're going to have a demo, salsa dancing demo with Earl, Yoey, Cecilia, and JJ.
Como tú quieras, como azul rico del cielo, con el rojo de amapola, como el negro de tu pelo, con tu sonrisa de luna, con mi cariño sincero, con ese que te miré, me provoca mi desvelo. Para todas las Marías de Latinoamérica.
Move it out the way. So you guys will do this. Look, thank everybody so much for coming out. Thank you for tuning in and watching us. Look, you can go to the YouTube channel from the Cellar with Richard Glover Live. Subscribe to the channel. Look at us on Facebook, on Facebook page, the Cellar Wine Show with Richard Glover. Look, I want to thank Earl Rush. I want to thank Yoey. I want to thank Cece. I want to thank JJ for coming out. Look, guys, we're going to have to do this again. We're going to have to do a part 2. Okay? Thank you so much. You've been tuning into the Cellar where we talk about wine, fashion, and lifestyle. And like I always say, take time, enjoy fine wine, and we'll see you next time. Everybody say in the cellar. In the cellar.